Got
Alright,
it.
okay. Easy, right? If I
Easy, easy.
if I make a stumble, we'll just roll with it and we'll just laugh it off.
Oh, you know what? I've heard every name under the sun. I'm sure you won't come up with a new one.
Oh, so, you know what? I'm very pressed record, so we'll just start the podcast like this. Makes it nice and fun. Screw it, folks. We're talking about names
Go for it.
because
No, you've got an easy name.
I know exactly. Like that's what I say every time I do a podcast. Like I was like, my dad just was like, you know what? We're not giving him like any sort of fancy name. We're just going with Ross. Straight to the point. I was like, perfect. And then surname Baxter, nice and simple, nice
I
and
always
easy.
I always get the like Ryan Gut Gut uh G.
Ryan G, perfect. That's your stage name, Ryan G.
Oh, you know the amount of times I've considered you know the artist Matthew O'Halloran?
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Matthew O?
All right, okay. Oh, I don't know who this is.
Oh no, he's big hard surface artist.
Oh
But
wait,
he just
sorry. Yeah, I do. Right,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And he just goes by Matthew O.
Yeah,
Maybe I should just be Ryan G.
just be Ryan G for my.
Yeah. Um I'm nowhere near good enough to do that. He's amazing.
Dude, just roll with it. You just have to be confident. Just go with it.
Oh, I should
Just
change it
rock
one
with
day
it.
out of the blue. They'll be like, "Who is this? Ryan G?"
Ryan G. Oh my god, that'd be some entrance. That'd be great. Introducing first, Ryan G.
Just trademark that.
Yeah, just like a WWE entrance.
The fireworks and everything. Smoke.
Perfect. Why not, man? You've got to do it. Like, well, in this case, we'll just go with that because so that's what I say every time in the podcast. So, by the way, introductions as always. Welcome everyone tuning into the SHOUTOUT podcast. As always, I'm your host. You guys have survived 74 episodes so far, so I hope you're enjoying. 74. Well, actually, this is episode 74. Right. The most important part is getting the guest name right. Right. So we've got Ryan, and Ryan, I've almost forgotten it. So, right, say it again, dude.
Gaveglia.
Gaveglia.
Silent G. Silent G.
See, like I was under pressure, and I was already like, I was like, I'm already gonna screw this up. No, but thank you so much, dude, coming on the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be here too. It's good to be on.
And oh no, man, it's been a pleasure. And we're gonna dive into the world of Ryan G. We're rocking with it, Ryan. We're rocking with it. Ryan G. Everybody, this is gonna become your new
Easier,
name.
isn't it?
I'm so sorry, dude. Right, so first things first, just tell us a wee bit about yourself, what you do, and like, I guess what kind of got you into art.
Okay, so I guess I've always been into art, kind of drawing, painting from a young age, and then I just kind of followed the natural path going through school, A levels, and then it got to the point where I needed to decide what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wanted to do something art related, and I already had a big passion for games. So yeah, I went and put the two together, studying games art, and then since then, I studied 3 years at Northampton
Mm-hmm.
University, and then after that, I was working as a VR technician at The Void, which is like a big VR company. I think they've got a lot of ties with Disney now, actually,
Yeah.
because they do a lot of virtual reality experiences for a lot of their IPs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was working there, we were working on the Star Wars Secrets of the Empire attraction, which was really cool
That's awesome.
because I was a technician. I got to go through it hundreds of times, working out all the glitches,
Yeah,
doing motion tracking, all sorts of interesting stuff I've never done before.
definitely. No, that's awesome. No, I'm really glad you brought that up because I actually really want to dive into that because when it comes to like VR, so that was like my kind of, well, it wasn't my first kind of gig when it came to 3D. It was actually like, this is the great thing about having you on because like our paths are very similar, man.
They are. It's
Like,
kind of scary.
It's
Are you
it's scary.
following me?
Like, hey, you be following me. So you did architecture stuff. I started with architecture. You did VR stuff. I did VR stuff, and then you're doing environment, and now I'm doing environment.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of done it the other way around actually, because I went from uni to VR, and now I'm in architecture, but still doing environments as well.
Yeah. Right, now the big question is, so when you start a podcast?
Phew.
So that's the next part. We're going to do the same thing, dude. You got to start your own podcast now.
Oh wow,
The pressure's on.
the pressure's on.
But, like that's the awesome thing because like when it comes to like doing podcasts and like obviously I said to you at the start, it's like the greatest thing is like when you're talking to people, like first of all you have no idea what to expect because like obviously like I can do my research and do like go into the good old LinkedIn. Like I'm so glad most people have LinkedIn because
Yeah.
like sometimes I get put on the spot and I'm like I'm trying to improvise. Like say if they don't have LinkedIn, I'm like right, okay, time to be very intelligent with my planning.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best way.
Oh, exactly. So when it comes to obviously the podcast, the main thing is university, and one of the things. So I was actually talking to Ryan about this at the start, and it's kind of a bit of a random one to start off with. But when it comes to like activities and like societies, etc., I know obviously you took part and you do sport, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you were at university, was I know you did like table tennis. So shout out to everyone who loves table tennis because I love it. Is there like anything that you kind of got involved in while you're at university?
As in, apart from just that, or
Yeah, like was there anything in general?
well, so kind of similarly to you. So basketball was like your big thing growing up, right?
Yeah, there's always like basketball,
Yeah.
football.
So mine was table tennis. So it kind of I kind of joined the table tennis club,
Mm-hmm.
and then unfortunately, everyone the year later left. Like all of them
What?
were third year students or exchange students for a year. So
Yeah,
I was just kind of left on my own. So I ended up picking up the president and captain of the club just kind of by default.
yeah, yeah. Of course, perfect.
But yeah, apart from that, I didn't do too much just because it was
Mm-hmm.
such a big commitment running a club and taking charge of the team as well, like traveling to all the matches
Awesome.
and things like that. So it took up quite took up quite a lot of time.
Yeah.
But actually, there was a small project I worked on with one of my friends, James.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to James.
Shout out to James.
Which was one of our tutors had asked him if he wanted to. It was a local primary school that were building. I think their primary school was built on like an abandoned office block or derelict office block, and they like renovated it.
Okay.
But because it was in an office block, they didn't have any like much outdoor space, so they wanted to expand onto the roof and build some sort of garden on the roof
Mm-hmm.
type thing. So he initially got asked if he wanted to design that in Unreal and things like that. And he asked me if I wanted to go on, and we did. Well, yeah, he asked me if I wanted to collaborate, and we did that. And looking back at it now, eh, it was okay, but
No, but at the end of the day, like that's still a great thing because and when the reason why I asked the question and like obviously when I was saying to you earlier about like the sports side of things and obviously it's a main passion of mine. Like there's so many different things. Oh, by the way, can you hear that background noise? Just at random. Can you hear the noise going on in the background just so it's not too annoying? Can you hear that?
from background noise from your end.
Yeah.
No, it's all clear.
Awesome, cool. Just want to make sure. Yeah, because like literally right now, I've got like my people in the flat above me, and I can hear like they're just washing machine going like crazy, just like
Oh,
rattling against the wall. I'm like,
they heard you were podcasting and
yeah,
decided to do everything.
they're like, right, it's time to interfere. It's time to destroy the podcast.
Sabotage.
Absolutely just mental. No, but that's always one thing I like to kind of get across as much as I can because I've not really touched on it as of late in terms of just like the things that we do outdoors, whether it's sport and stuff. Because I'm aware like you also like to do like hiking and stuff.
Um, it's not really a regular thing, but every
Hmm.
now and then I kind of we'll go away for the weekend, go away for a week. Like in
Yeah.
October, I went to the Peak District, which was
Right.
really
Okay.
cool.
Awesome.
I haven't got anything planned yet for this year, but who knows?
Of course. No, but like,
I need to come to Scotland.
yeah, you gotta go to Scotland. And just in general, when it comes to like events, things you do in university, I think it's so important. And it's at the end of the day, it's like it just applies to like your general well being, like doing things, getting involved, and like the whole kind of social aspect. And like the reason why this is so important is because it ties into like, and especially like, there's one thing I know you get involved in, for example, like discords and stuff, and
Yeah.
like getting in with communities. Like speaking of like just communities and stuff, like
Yeah, I guess with Discord, it's kind of not a recent thing, but I kind of got into it maybe I don't know, maybe I made an account about a year ago,
mm-hmm,
and I joined the Dynasty Discord, and I kind of in a way I kind of it was kind of intimidating in a way because there was just so many messages coming through, so
mm-hmm.
many channels. I had no idea what to do. Like I had never used Discord, and then I kind of just put it off for a little while, and then I came back to it maybe 6 months later, and I was like, right, I need to just commit to this, go for it because it's like I'm I'm losing out here by not being a part of these communities.
Yep.
So I kind of gave it a go, stuck to it, and then since then that's been it. I've been
No, that's great.
active on Discord all the time, on experience points and on Dynasty every now and then. But experience points is kind of like where I mainly am now.
Yeah, that's like your go-to one.
Yeah, it's kind of like my go-to one.
Perfect. Now, because like I really wanted to bring up, and then also like the really cool thing, because we were talking about like Discord. So I was like saying to Ryan, I'm pretty sure it was you, Ryan. Like I was saying to you, like because I'm not, like I say to people on the podcast, like I'm not yet into that Discord vibe. I've tried them out, so like I'll join Discords and I'll see what it's all about and stuff and try and experiment. But it's I'm kind of like the same boat as you in the sense that it's like there's so many people just like geeking out and stuff, which is great. But it's just I've always been like, how can I say it? Like I'm one of those people that's so I love to talk in that, but it's just like when there's just like so much going on, it's just like my focus just I get so distracted. I'm like I would literally be like having to click Discord all the time. Like when a notification comes up, I'm like, oh my god, I need to see it. I just need to see it.
Yeah, I get that, but I know there are quite a few people that kind of they do kind of appear every once in a while and then they disappear for a bit and they dip back in and drop out, and it's just, I guess it's all personal preference really.
Definitely.
Whatever suits you.
No, like that's perfect. And then like one of the really cool things that you were saying to me a while back as well is that so you're now doing like editing. So it's like an editor kind of role for experience points, aren't you?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm helping Kem out with the articles, kind of like editing, because there's there's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's great because like that then ties back to this kind of main kind of topic that we're starting things off, and it's basically kind of getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I got quite lucky in a way, because when Experience Points launched, I already knew it was launching because I've been following Kem's work for a while.
Yeah.
So as soon as the Discord launched, I was kind of straight in there, and then I became a Patreon. So I what's the word?
No, I know what you mean. So it's like
So I kind of donate money every month to support the community.
Perfect.
And then he just said, "Oh, does anyone want to help with the editing?" And I was like, "Yep, all right, I'll do it."
Perfect. No, dude, like, that's the thing. You have to grab it like when you have the chance because there's so many things. And like I used to have this kind of bad habit. I'm trying to say is the word habit's probably the best thing, but it's like, do you know when like something pops up and you're like kind of debating is this viable or not?
I know what you mean.
And it's like you're trying to figure out should I take it? Should I take like just like maybe like even if it's just like a job, like should I take like the normal job? And like it's all these things that
Or should I take the risk? Or
yeah, exactly. And like at the end of the day, it's like all these things come intertwined, and you have to like just try things out, experiment. Like you don't know what to how can I say, like you don't know what to expect until you try it out.
yeah, definitely. And then if you don't like it, I guess it just helps you find out stuff that you don't like, so then you know for next time.
Definitely. So carrying on with like communities and stuff, just a random question to put out there: is there any kind of like we've talked about Discords? Is there any kind of like Facebook groups by any chance that you get involved in, or like that you like? Because I know obviously we've got like 10,000 hours and stuff. Is there any other ones that you maybe would recommend, or if there's not? That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, I don't post in Facebook too much actually. Normally, just because there are a few groups. There's the Unreal Engine 4 developers, developers community.
Okay.
And there's the Substance Tools group,
Right. Perfect.
which I know quite a lot of people post in as well.
Definitely.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, I do post every now and then. If I've got new work, I might stick a link in there or something like that. But I do find that with Facebook, it gets quite saturated. So like you'll post something there, and then in 5 minutes your post will be about 100 posts down because so many things get posted in them.
Yeah. Oh no, I completely agree.
Especially 10,000 hours. Great as great as it is.
I'm sure that like I haven't been on it in a while, but I'm sure there's like 100,000 people or something crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look now.
Yeah, like there's literally so many people because like when it came to like the reason why I wanted to bring up Facebook is because I always like to how can I say it, like tap into new kind of well, not new, obviously Facebook's been around for ages, but there's so many different ways to kind of use social media and to like develop a name for yourself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like that's why I would say like what you did there with discords and experience points, like hats off to you, man, because like that's it's such a great thing. And like you said, like what Kem's doing, it's amazing. And when it comes to like, experience points, like shout out to them again. Make sure to check them out and follow what Kem is doing over there, and check out the Discord as well. And if you guys are new to it, I'll put the Discord in the link so you can make the most of that.
Yeah, there's lots of exciting content coming out soon. I look
Oh,
forward to people seeing it all.
that's awesome. So, right, dude. So this is going to be like the fun bit. So when it comes to um, just like your portfolio. So once again, great work by the way, and it's really awesome seeing what you're doing. But one of the things that I really took from seeing your artwork, and kind of goes back and it ties everything together once again when it comes to getting involved, is art station challenges.
Ah, yeah.
You're like, wait, what's he gonna say here? What's he gonna say here? And then also like, would you say like one of your main passions is like foliage kind of environment style art,
Um,
like landscapes
I,
and
w
stuff?
I don't know about it being a passion, but I would say it was one of my weaknesses, and I've kind of chosen to try and improve it by
Yeah,
doing more of it.
because like when I see your environment, it's like when it comes to your artwork, it's very like obviously outdoor heavy.
Yeah, it is at the moment. Yeah, because there were a few pieces that I had on there before, which are not there
Right.
now.
Okay.
They were more kind of, yeah, more man-made
Yeah.
type environments. But yeah,
Perfect.
now it just looks, I guess, like I'm just really into organic environments.
No, because like, man, that's really cool. Because like I wasn't sure what you were gonna say because I was like, is this like his like favorite thing to do, or is like what you said there? Because that was the answer I didn't expect, and that's great to see because like sometimes you just have to dive into the deep end and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, foliage I think is a thing that a lot of people really struggle with.
Yeah,
So I was just like, right, I need to learn this, and
perfect.
I'm still learning a lot.
No, but like, that's always been the thing though, because like I always be like I'm always very honest with everyone in the podcast. Like I'm not like I can't deny it. Like when I like first saw like foliage, I was terrified, man.
Yeah, I didn't even know where to start.
Like it's just like making leaves and stuff. Like when I'm going through your blog and I'm seeing all these Vine things, I'm like, what on earth is Ryan doing? It looks epic, but I have no idea what he's doing.
The funny thing is, half of the time, I don't know what I'm doing either. It's just experimenting until I get it right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the important word. You nailed it there. It's experimenting, and it's just like when it comes to art,
Fail a lot and quickly.
exactly. That's what you gotta do. Like at the day, it's like if you're not trying things out, you're never gonna learn. And as cliche as it sounds, it's literally like the important thing. So like when it comes to you as an artist, like how would you describe yourself? Like what's your kind of main kind of passion for environment art? Or like what's your kind of like do you have a particular kind of style or anything?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I have a particular style.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say my main passions are just, um, yeah, environments, lighting, materials. I've got quite into substance designer recently.
Perfect. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going good. I mean, I started learning it back at uni, but then yeah, I've learned a lot since then.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah.
No, because like, that's always been the thing. Because I've said it many times in the podcast. So like, I've still not used it, and I've said about 10 times on the podcast. Right, I'm going to get into design. I'm going to get a designer, and I've still not got into it.
It's funny actually because I was listening to yesterday. There was a talk, I think it was a podcast with Tim Simpson, and
Okay,
he was saying as well that he had not dabbled much in substance designer,
right.
and it was really interesting actually because he was saying that when he does eventually decide to get into it, he said he's going to go and instead of wasting time watching hours and hours of tutorials, he said he's going to just straight up go and buy the Josh Lynch mentorship, which is quite an interesting
Yeah.
thing because mentorships are kind of assumed to be for students or people who are just trying to get into the industry.
Hmm.
But the fact that there are people that are seniors and lead artists and people in the industry that are still willing to do the mentorships,
Yeah.
it's kind of, yeah, it's interesting because people are still trying to learn and grow even when they're a lead or a senior.
Yeah. No, that's a great point because that's really awesome. Because wait, which podcast was that? I'll have to check out because
Oh, well, I'll have to find it because
That's cool.
I only found it recently.
Awesome. Nah,
I'll
cause
have a look.
oh, that's fine. It's no problem at all, dude. Because like that's always the thing. Because when it comes to like, for example, me doing like my podcast, like at the end of the day, like obviously we're always learning, if you know what I mean, and like covering like different topics. For obviously, I like to go into like student education and like cover all the main things to help artists and stuff. But there's always like that kind of like there's artists as well in the industry who've been in it for years, of course, and like they're always learning as well. And like that's a great point that you brought up, because there's so many things out there that people are always wondering, right? What's like the best go-to resources, etc. And like you said, like the man himself, like Josh Lynch, incredible guy, absolutely amazing what he's doing with his, like. So everyone, if you guys are listening and you've never heard of Josh Lynch, so Josh, amazing texture artist and environment artist, and he runs the Mentor Coalition. We actually had him on the podcast, and it was a pleasure talking to him. But just speaking of like tutorials and stuff and mentorships, make sure to check him out, because what Ryan was saying there, it's super important. Because like I completely agree with what Tim was doing, because I think it's just super smart. If you know what I mean, it saves so much time.
Yeah, you're essentially buying time,
Yeah,
and you're going to improve a lot quicker.
definitely, because it's just
Learning from the best.
yeah, exactly. Like, why would you want to like watch just like any just normal tutorial if you had the chance to learn from Josh himself? Like, I would just go with Josh all the time.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shame in people who are in the industry already spending, I don't know, $500,
Yeah,
whatever that is in pounds on a mentorship. Really, I know there are a
definitely.
few people on Discord that were saying that they would love to do one of the environment art ones,
Hmm.
even though they're in the industry. It's just, yeah, they would love to learn from someone else.
Yeah. Have you done any like kind of online tutorial stuff yourself?
Um, Not a lot. No, I haven't. I haven't. I've bought a few tutorials here and there, like, but not many actually.
Hmm. Nah, that's fine, because
Something I should probably invest more in.
well, that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, it's like identifying what do you think is going to like propel yourself forward, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah, yeah,
like that's why I think like when it comes to like Ryan's work, and like it's such a great example. Like I think what you've showcased and what you do, like it's great and it's amazing. I think so much more artists should start doing what you do, because like at the end of the day, like there's so many students who are trying to like get their name out there or create artwork. And the first time like that I came across your work was when we had our first talk, etc. And it
oh
was
yeah,
and dude, it was super awesome. And like seeing your artwork, seeing like the fact that you've not only got involved in like the art station challenge, you've done like things with like the meat map for algorithmic, and once again like getting involved with like discords, etc., like all these things. So like speaking about like your artwork and stuff, and this is the one thing that I really think is just super awesome about your artwork, and it's like how like, you're able to. So this is one thing I struggle with, and this is probably one of the main reasons as well that I see it so much in your work, is you're able to make artwork look really detailed while also like keeping it simple, if you know what I mean.
I see what you mean. Yeah, like the scenes are not too big.
Well, it's like I think it's probably coming like from your architecture background. It's like you use space so well.
You know, I never really thought about that.
Like, dude, like I genuinely think like hands down, like when I was like, by the way, everyone, you gotta check out his League of the I was about to say League of Legends there. Force a habit. I'm so sorry. The Legend of King Arthur.
Oh,
What
the
a
round table,
contrast.
yeah.
But like, make sure to check out that piece. It'd be great. So like, just talk us about that piece. So like, what was like your process for that?
Well, I guess the main idea was when I saw the concept was to try and make as much of it as modular as I could with as
Hmm.
less materials as possible. And it was kind of around the same time that there was the whole um, big thing about trim sheets becoming popular, like and kind of less in the dark. So everyone was saying, "Oh, trim sheets, you should be doing trim sheets," and nobody knew about trim sheets.
Hmm.
So I was like, right, I need to learn trim sheets.
Yeah.
So I pretty much decided that I would make a trim sheet and I'd make a material and try and make as much of the environment as possible with just those two materials. And yeah, I managed to I managed to get it to work somehow, and they both come from the same Substance Designer graph as well. So I can just flick a switch, and
Perfect.
it flicks between the tiles texture and the trim texture,
Yep.
and then from there it was pretty much just lots of modeling in Max to get all the parts,
Mhm.
and then just yeah, applying all the trims, applying all the UVs, and yeah, getting it to look as close as possible to the concept.
Awesome.
But then the only thing with that is I spent so much time learning about that.
Mhm.
I didn't get to spend as much time as I would have liked to on the props.
Right. Okay.
So the props were kind of if I had more time, I would have spent a lot more time on them.
Yeah.
But I guess the main purpose was to try and nail down trims, which I was happy with.
Yeah, I know, but like, dude, like, trust me, like, I generally think it's an awesome piece because it's having like we'll also talk about it in a second about his blog and stuff, and it's like a similar kind of topic that I want to relate to as well. What Timothy does as well at Ubisoft, and like when I saw your artwork, it's just it gets so awesome to see because when I think of especially when it comes to when I started as a student, it's like having the ability to not only understand like composition and like for example rule of thirds, like you name it, all the like all that kind of stuff, like all the stuff that really makes a compelling image. And at the end of the day, like when I was in uni, I was always thought like right, just keep adding. And like I know you said that you probably didn't really notice it, but like what you do with your space, like when in terms of like guiding like the eye, like for example the it's almost like the like how can I say like the god ray kind of light that you've got setting up for like the round table. It gets really nice, like it's really awesome, and I think more artists should start utilizing lighting and space, or like thinking more about space because like I'm not sure like you said, maybe it is from like what you've done, like what you've learned through like your architecture background. Probably that is the case because it makes so much sense if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'd agree actually because with the architecture work, um, while it's kind of different, there's quite a few things that I've taken from it that I've put into my own work. So yeah, lighting being one of them, like knowing how to balance your light areas and your shadow areas so that no areas are too dark or too bleached out.
Mm-hmm.
Things like even simple things like modeling with splines. I never knew how to model with splines before I went to work at VReal,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, now I use splines all the time.
Literally just splines non-stop.
Well, I mean, sometimes I'll just, even if I'm just making a box in 3ds Max,
Okay.
sometimes just by habit I'll just start drawing a square spline and just extrude it.
Well, really, right? Okay, that's
Yeah,
sick. Right, awesome.
yeah. I guess it's just kind of, uh, yeah, it just kind of comes naturally now. But
Yeah, it's become a habit.
yeah, I mean, but then sometimes I'll have to stop myself and be like, no, what are you
It's
doing?
like no
This is
more
wrong.
splines.
No more splines.
That's sweet. No, because like everyone always has like that one thing. Is like you create a habit. Like I've got this habit of like because I love ZBrush so much, right? And I'm like right, what could I do to make my like pipeline more efficient? I'm like even though ZBrush is not the way for like the pipeline that I'm trying to get better at, but I always like right open ZBrush is like, and then I end up closing it all the time, like open close all the time because it's like I'm so tempted just to use ZBrush, and it's just
Yeah.
like trying to hold myself back, like step away, Ross, calm down.
Yeah, I get that.
That's it's always the thing. No, but like that's great. So like, can you kind of like maybe go into depth about just what you did do throughout your architecture job? It'd be great to hear.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still working there at the moment, but
Perfect.
basically we provide the CGIs, fly-throughs, and 360 VRs for housing companies that are
Mhm.
building new houses, and yeah, they need to sell the house before it's been built, basically.
Okay.
They need to sell the houses to customers before it's been built, basically.
Yep.
So we basically create super realistic looking images of what the houses will look like so that the developers can yeah sell the houses.
Yeah, no, that's awesome because it's almost like at the day it's all about presentation, how you at the day you always want to make like high quality images, etc. Like you said, and when it comes to like architecture, I'm not sure if were you a fan of grand designs as growing up?
I did watch it every now and then, yeah.
Because like I always felt like so like this is why I was saying at the start how like our passings in terms of what we've done are very similar, because my first job was in architecture, and I also had did you get like a work experience in secondary school?
I
Like did
I
you get
did,
offered
yeah,
like
I did, but it was something really irrelevant.
yeah. So like I did, so that's what I did. So I went to like an architecture place to learn just like to see what it was like, if you know what I mean.
Oh, were you doing 3D at that point then?
So I did. So I started. Well, I wouldn't say I started. So I got introduced to 3D because of the wonderful Tintin, absolutely amazing Tintin. When I
Of
was
course.
what's it called? I must have been 16. Was it 16? So it was in my like fourth year. So like I was shown from my like this is weird. So like for some reason we had 3ds Max in our secondary school. Like
Wow.
it was that awesome. Like it was just like what's the chances of your secondary school having 3ds Max? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I don't know. From what I've heard, actually, it seems like schools might be investing more money and things like that into teaching people like games and 3D work,
Yeah,
and even coding and things like that. So I
definitely.
don't know. Maybe times are changing.
Oh man, it'd be so like imagine doing like 3ds Max like I don't know like primary school and you're just like learning like how to become a master at like
Oh
Polygon
gosh,
modeling or whatever, and then
could
you
be like
like
a
evolve
senior
and
by the time you're 15.
you're just like just an absolute beast. It would just be like, terrified. You like say like you just like getting into the industry right now, and you just see it as like a 13-year-old like prodigy just rising from
Yeah.
the from the ashes. You're like, who is this person?
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
Oh, it'd be terrified as well. You'd be like, oh my gosh, this person's got like 13 years behind. And he's already like a beast. But like that's the thing. So like talking about architecture, like so, what would you say is like the biggest thing like, you've learned? I know we've touched on it a wee bit already, but is there any like main thing that you've learned from your job that's really kind of translated over into your environment art?
Yeah, good question. Because yeah, like I said, there was lighting, and then there was splines, which I find really useful when I'm doing my environment work.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to think if anything else that particularly sticks out.
Because like I was like obviously I was talking about like spacing, and then like obviously you were saying about lighting, and then
Oh
when you
yeah, camera compositions definitely.
perfect.
Yeah, like knowing how to set up your camera correctly with the right FOV, camera correction, things like that, and
So when
utilizing the space. Yeah.
perfect. Sorry to cut you off there. I wasn't trying to be
No, no,
rude.
no, no.
I was like, wait. I was like, because that's always the thing. So like when I'm doing my podcast, it's like, so like it's like at the start, I was like, should I turn the camera on? What makes it easier for the guests? I was like, sometimes I'm always like when are they going to speak next? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it comes to just like going back onto the topic of like ArtStation and stuff, and going about your blog, etc. Like, what would you say like if you had to give advice or recommending like the ArtStation challenges? Like, what was like the biggest thing that you maybe? We'll just start off with this. Like, what would you say was the main thing you learned from doing like ArtStation challenges?
Ooh, definitely working quickly
Okay.
because it's such a tight deadline with I think it's about 2 months you have to do it, maybe it's slightly less.
Oh gosh, right. Okay, I didn't realize it was that strict.
Yeah, you have to pretty much, yeah, get cracking, get as much blocked out as you can, and you can't spend too much time on something small. You have to keep going, even if it's passable, like if it's shippable, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Just you have to just stick to it and move on, keep going. Next asset, just keep going,
Perfect.
and, and just try and get as much done in the short space of time as you can, and then do another pass on it later if you have time, I guess.
Definitely. No, that's a great answer. So like when it comes to
Sorry, and take in as much feedback as you can as well, because while you're working quickly, sometimes it's easy to get like tunnel vision
mhm.
and stuck looking at the same thing over and over again. You don't spot the easy mistakes.
Yeah,
So even just I don't know, when you have to do like a work in progress blog or post it somewhere, yeah, see what people have to say and take it on board.
definitely. Like I'd say like feedback like you said it's like how can I say it? It's the end all, well, it's not end all be all, but it's just feedback is so important, and obviously, most importantly, make sure like it's the right feedback or understanding who's giving you the feedback, but also being open to suggestions as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the best things I'd say. Discord, because you can post pretty much a work in progress, or if you're having trouble, you don't know how to do something, you can post somewhere in
Mm-hmm.
Discord, and you'll get pretty much an instant reply from someone saying, oh yeah, this needs changing, or oh, I would do this, or oh, if you're having trouble doing this, try using this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah, so instant,
Definitely.
rather than posting it on Twitter or Polycount or somewhere like that, where you'd have to then wait for a response.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So like when it comes to like carrying on this kind of theme of like the ArtStation challenge, so I know you're doing the Cyberpunk challenge.
Yes, yeah, the Cyberpunk challenge.
So how's that going?
Yeah, it's going really well. It's if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely go and check it out. It's being run by Experience Points and the Dynasty Empire,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, there's loads of awesome prizes, loads of awesome people who have entered. So many, well, I'm pretty sure the whole blog page on ArtStation is just full of cyberpunk work now.
Yeah, just non-stop crazy posts of every
Yeah,
sort of sci-fi environment possible.
but yeah, it's really cool because everyone's really excited about it. So everyone's pumped. Everyone's pushing each other to try their best and give it their all. So there's going to be some really awesome pieces that come out of it.
Oh,
Yeah, mine is going well. I mean, I really need to do another blog post actually, because my last one my last one was 6 days ago,
dude,
and
you'll be fine.
seeing other people's blog posts coming up is making me itch. I need to,
The temptation is like I need to start
yeah, I need to
blogging.
do it. But yeah, it's going really well. And I
No, that's
actually,
great.
Jeremy, who's Dynasty,
Mm-hmm.
he did a stream the other day,
Okay.
and he was reviewing people's um, work in progress blogs, which was really useful actually, because he went through mine for a few minutes, and yeah, it was really helpful. Pointed out some things that were really obvious, but I didn't spot them.
Mm-hmm.
Like even just like small compositional things as well.
Yeah.
That was really useful.
No, but that's always really good, and the fact that like that's another thing. It's like for example, when Jeremy's doing his live stream, so everyone once again make sure to get involved with this as well, because at the end of the day, it's like it's getting great feedback from a great artist. So basically, you're probably actually better than me at describing it. It's like what you said there. So like, how would you describe like Jeremy's streams?
I guess it kind of depends, because sometimes when he streams, he does like portfolio reviews, or in this case, he's been doing the Cyberpunk Challenge blog reviews, seeing as he's one of the judges as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times he'll just be streaming doing work, so you can actually see how a senior artist works and what they're going through, what's going through their head, what they're thinking while they're working.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, yeah, it'll be mind blown, some of the things that he thinks about, and you'll think, oh, I never thought of that, or oh, I didn't even consider this way of doing this thing.
Yeah. Like that's always the great thing though, is like when you see how can I say it? It's like, do you know when you're working on an art piece, or when you see, or sorry, not when you're working on an art piece, but when you see another person working on an art piece, and then you're wondering like how do they do it, and then the crazy thing about it is like they'll explain it, and then it seems so simple, and
Yeah.
you're just like, wait, what? How on earth did this happen?
Like, why did I never think of this?
Yeah, it's like that's always the thing. It's like it's always like the small things that we tend to like. I'm not sure if it's just like we get so carried away, but we kind of it's like you're just like, or like for example, do you like when you accidentally maybe leave something in a scene, like for example, like maybe you forgot to texture something, or you put it the upside down, or whatever it may be, and then you're like you don't spot it because you're seeing it that much.
Yeah, definitely.
It's always the worst. It's always the worst. You're like. Actually, I was about to say there's one thing in one of my art pieces that I'm not gonna say, but because I'll make everyone laugh. That you have
I'm
to.
almost tempted to try and hunt it down
Oh,
now.
dude, if you find it, oh god, it'd be hilarious. But it's like I didn't realize I kept it in the scene, but it's so funny, man. Like everyone's gonna be like looking now, is like, what is this thing that Ross is talking about?
I'm intrigued. I'm gonna have to have a look later.
The hunt begins.
I'll let you know if I spot it.
Perfect. So, speaking about blogging and stuff. So, how like what's your thoughts on blogging?
Well, blogging, yeah, is really great.
Perfect.
I was never really much of a blogger or like into blogging really
Okay.
until my third year of uni when I had to do my final major project, and I had to have a blog going along with it with kind of like weekly updates of what I'd done,
Mm-hmm.
and I just got really into it.
Yeah.
And then since then, I kind of dropped it for a bit, and then I tried to start the blog on ArtStation, never really got it going properly. But then
Mm-hmm.
if with the ArtStation challenges, I was doing blogs for those because you have to kind of do some work in progress blogs for the challenge,
Yeah.
which I really enjoyed. And then since then, yeah, I've kind of revived my blog and been posting. Well, I was posting updates about my watchtower environment, which I started working on, but
It's looking
I've
really
had,
nice, by the way.
I've had to put it off twice because once there was an ArtStation challenge, and then I was like, okay, ArtStation challenge is done, right? Back to work on the watchtower.
Yeah.
And then the Cyberpunk challenge just popped up, and I was like, oh, temptation.
It's like I could just tell you're like I could just tell when you see a challenge on our station, you're like,
Yeah.
I've got to do it. It's like I'm sorry. It's like that's why I had to bring it up in the podcast today. I was like, I just know this guy loves challenges.
But no, no, I've decided after the Cyberpunk one, I'm done. I need to
Right.
finish
Okay.
the watchtower.
We'll believe you. Everyone in the blog.
I say this now.
What was that? Sorry.
I say this now.
Yeah, you say this now,
Wait until the next one pops up. I'll be
dude. This is official live evidence. People are
because
going to use this.
the exact same thing happened with the King Arthur one.
Oh, dude, come on.
I was working on the Watchtower project, and then I saw all of these people posting like their blog posts for the King Arthur challenge, and
Yeah.
I was going, all right, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I need to stay away. And then about a week later, I just caved in.
Yeah, just
I was
caved
like,
in.
I'm joining a week late.
It's like might as well go with the flow. Why not?
Yeah.
So like when it comes to like I know we've kind of touched on it, but it's like so like the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because I did a lot of it because I was saying to you beforehand before we went live it really helped me because it helped me stay structured. It kind of gave me kind of like a task, if you know what I mean. So how does like blogging help you?
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of strange because it's kind of like once you start blogging and once like a few people are commenting and liking and things like that, you do almost feel like a kind of expectancy to kind of provide a new blog post in a
Hmm.
way, or like provide some updates. So in a way, it kind of helps me to work because it kind of forces me into it
Yeah,
because I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind like I need to make another blog post or I need to show I'm still here.
yeah. No,
Or,
that's
yeah,
a great answer, man.
yeah, in a weird way.
No, because at the end of the day, it's like how can I say it? Like we all have these moments. Obviously, it depends on the situation, but like I've had these moments in the past that like always honest. It's like sometimes you just don't want to make art, if you know what I mean, because like maybe you're doing art all the time. I remember there was a stage when I was doing just there was so much things going on. It was like working full day and then working on a full environment and then podcasts and then all these other things art related, and then I was like, right, I'm just gonna take a break. And I realized though that when it came to kind of sometimes like say for example, if there's people tuning in and they're trying to find what's going to keep them motivated, like you said, like that was a great answer because at the end of the day, like sometimes you need to just like give yourself like something to kind of push you forward, if you know what I mean.
Which is why the challenges are great as well because you see other people working on the challenge and then it just motivates you to work on your challenge more.
Yeah,
And
yeah, oh,
you
dude,
want to share all of your work with everyone and everyone's hyped
yeah,
about punk or whatever challenge it may be.
definitely. Like
Yeah.
I'm really glad you said that. You just said something that really is really important, and obviously you have to do it. In it's a friendly competition, but it's like at the end of the day, like this is a chance. Like Art Station Challenge is like is an opportunity for you to kind of like the way I like to say it is like it kind of gives you the truth, if you know what I mean, in terms of like your comparison.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and like you said, it's all friendly. It's not like uber competitive. It's not like if you ask someone for a bit of help, they're going to go, "Oh, I'm in the challenge too. I'm not going to help you because
Yeah,
I want to win," or something stupid like
it's
that.
not like it's
No, it's like
the
everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's helping everyone out.
yeah,
So yeah, it's really nice.
perfect. Like I just had it in my mind there because like I was just thinking about sport. I was just like, unless it's table tennis mode, then you're getting destroyed.
Yeah,
It's
maybe not
like
then.
sorry, but it's sport time. I'm afraid it's a completely different ball game.
Oh yeah,
That's when the competition starts.
yeah.
Like I can't deny that's when the other Ross comes out, and I
I
like
don't know if I want to know that other
uh,
Ross.
like I'm a very nice person. Like I'm a very
On the basketball court though, I don't know.
oh dude, on the basketball court, all other ball game. I'm sorry, but it has
Your
to be.
friendships go out the window.
There's no such thing as being kind in the basketball court. Like I remember like growing up playing football. Like football was like so it would be football was like my main thing, and then playing basketball. So I used to play. So I assume so. You know there's like Scottish Premier League.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what my whole childhood. So I grew up playing in the youth setup with that, and like I would always be playing like football and stuff. It was just like it'd be just like go to war, if you know what I mean. Everyone would just like slide tack central. Like that's why I always love watching rugby or something because it's just
Bruises and
like,
cuts.
pardon.
Lots of bruises and cuts.
Yeah, it's like you'll accidentally raise up your foot going in for a slide tackle. You're like it's like it was 50-50.
I could just imagine like fights breaking out every 5 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I can't. I wouldn't say like it would be like fights. It's just like that's always the thing about football though. It's like it's always like that. Like when the ball's getting crossed people are like it's like, oh my god, this side of Ross is coming out in the podcast. It's like when you're what's it like saying it's a corner. It's like you're defending, like you're marking your players like a little gentle shoulder barge or a little elbow to the chest. You're like just keeping my distance. That's here. It's friendly competition. Well, actually, I don't know if it's
Yeah,
friendly is the right word.
all friends at the end, just not on the pitch or the court.
Exactly. I better quickly change the subject just in case everyone
Yeah,
starts
I was,
hating my
I was,
bully.
yeah, I was going to say actually back to when you were saying about having a break from art or and things like that. I was going to say back when I got my first job after uni as a VR technician at the Void,
Hmm.
and it was full time, and it was my first full time job I'd ever had, and it was like 5 days a week, but it was like full work days, but the hours could have been like anything from 9 till 5 or midday till like 11.
Yeah.
So I was like working shifts. I was kind of all over the place with my sleep pattern. I didn't really have any motivation to do any art. So I kind of, while I was working there, I didn't really do any art. And then once I started at V-Reel doing, working in the studio, working somewhere where I had like access to a decent PC where I could use Max and use Unreal, Substance, whatever software I wanted to use. It kind of motivated me to work even at work, like during lunch. I'm sure people I work with probably know.
Yeah.
Like at lunchtime, I'll kind of split my lunch in half almost. So I have an hour, and I'll spend half an hour away from the screen, eating, chilling out, talking.
Yeah.
For the second half an hour, I'll kind of recently I've been doing my cyberpunk challenge, but yeah, I'll do half an hour of my own personal work.
On your lunch break.
Yeah,
Perfect.
because in a way, it's kind of like it's a break from work still, because at work it's all kind of pre-rendered V-Ray
Hmm.
kind of work, and then post-production in Photoshop. So it's a completely different workflow. So it's almost like completely doing something completely different in
Yeah.
a way.
It's like
So it's
or
I
the
kind of
scapegoat in a way.
I wouldn't burn out. I don't think, just because it's completely different.
Perfect. No, that's really interesting that you said that. No, because I understand because when I was in one of my last jobs and stuff, it was always like the same thing as well. Like you'd see lots of people doing half-hour shifts, not half-hour shifts, but half-hour breaks.
Mm.
And when it comes to like making the most of your time and stuff, like or just like you said, like for example, for you, you said there it was like something that just kind of almost kind of got you away from the work environment, and it's like an escape, etc. You can just relax, focus on something different, and you're still being productive at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I think Alex Beddoes mentioned it on one of his podcasts recently. Now that he's working at ArtStation in more of a managerial role,
Hmm.
he says when he gets home, he's ready to go with art. Like even though he's worked a full day,
Yeah.
ready to just go home and make some art. And I'm kind of in a similar way,
That's
where I've been
awesome.
working on architecture work all day.
Perfect.
I'll get home and I'll be like, right, open up Unreal, open up Substance.
Here it begins.
Yeah, let's go.
Hyped up, the G Fuel or whatever it is your drink, the Red
No,
Bull.
coffee.
Oh, coffee, even better.
My
Your sword. Just not just. I bet it's like there's a whole. That's the thing as well. Like, I'm like I can't deny coffee's scary for me at times because I'm really bad at the timing of my coffee.
I managed to. There was a period at work where I managed to limit myself to one coffee in the morning and then one coffee in the afternoon. And then anytime I was wanting a coffee in between, I'd switch it for tea.
Right.
But then there was a period recently where I was just really, really busy, and I was just like, no, coffee, coffee, coffee.
Just no drop caffeine.
Yeah.
Like I was always like that bad. Oh, by the way, this is the number one tip, and everyone probably already knows this. But when you're in uni, whatever you do, don't drink coffee at night.
Ooh.
Like that's what I did that too much.
I think you got to do it once, experience it, and then you realize.
Yeah, you get the reality check kicked in.
Yeah. You got to do everything at least once before you realize. I think.
Like that is very true. Like experience your first all nighter, even though I don't recommend it. But
Oh yeah. I mean,
terrifying.
I think with my first all nighter, we just ended up swapping out coffee for beer at that point. We were just like, make some fun out of it.
You might as well, huh?
My friend James, who I mentioned earlier,
Matey James, shout out again to James.
Yeah, we were in the same house, so we'd both be up doing all nighters, and then we'd be messaging each other like, "Yo, I want to go down to the kitchen in half an hour for a beer." It's like, yeah, it was like 4 a.m. Like, yeah, go on then.
Might as well throw it in, eh? Dude, I didn't think you were gonna say that. I was like, coffee and beer.
I mean,
you might as well, I guess.
I no words when you're in that like last point, like last push to get all your uni work out.
Yeah,
you just got to make some fun out of it.
Push comes to shove. It's always like the interesting stories when it comes to. Oh, actually, I'll put you in the spot. Is there any? Well, actually, you said one there. Is there any university stories that you've had?
Ooh,
it's okay.
Art wise.
Yeah, we'll stay safe. Any art stories?
Ooh.
If there's not, it's fine. But
no, I'm trying to think.
I've put you in the spot.
Of ones that aren't too
extreme.
Yeah.
We'll
come back. We'll come back to it if I think of one.
Perfect. We'll come back to that one.